I have to give Penn State a lot of credit. That's done a real good job. Obviously, they got good players. We needed to just keep grinding this game. We couldn't make a shot, and kind of got away from us a little bit. And our inability to score affects us sometimes on the defensive end. But give Penn State a lot of credit. I know coming in, they beat a great Ohio State team that was playing great. I love their talent that they've assembled, and they do a really good job. So we have to play better than that, obviously, on the road.
Steve, first half, 28 points, played some really good defense. Second half kind of seemed to unravel a bit. What do you think was the difference there?
They only scored 32 in the second half, so we threw them the ball. Threw them the ball a lot. It was clearly, we had some offensive issues. These guys, are better shooters and better players than that. But sometimes you have a night like this, and we're on the road playing a good team. You can't afford to, and couldn't seem to get the ball, to go in the basket. Our defense has been fine. They averaged 77. We held them to 60, and we threw them the ball down the stretch 4 or 5 times. So we could have kept them in the 50s. But our offense got to generate more points for us.
Sorry, Coach. You benched Corey for 9 minutes around the middle of the second half. Was he really frustrated? Was there something
No, I just went with that group that came out and gave us, great energy, and we got a lift on it. So I coached by that. He played 20. I don't know what Corey played, 28, 20. That's what that's what he averages 30 some odd. But Suf and that group gave us some great energy. So I went with that group, and they kind of got us clawing back into the basketball game.
Coach, 12 turnovers in the second half to just 4 in the first half. What was the difference there?
Yeah, I just think frustration down the stretch, and obviously those led to points by them. But, we've been good not turning the ball over. Obviously, late in that game, we turned the ball over 3 or 4 times. So, we normally would have our 10 or 11. That's what we do. So that was our 4 on that department.
Eugene had 9 points, 3 for 4 shooting. How do you think he's been adjusting to that 3 spot? Looked like you played him a lot in that spot.
So he's adjusting to it, and we can do different things with him in there. And so he always plays hard, and we put him in tough spots sometimes. And so now he has to learn a whole new position. So we dearly miss Mike. Mike, was another guy that played multiple positions too for us. So we're figuring it out.
Keeping on Mike, how important is it to? I saw him in the huddle, and being around the team,
still a while. So.
But just being around the team,
Oh, I love having him around the team. He's a positive guy, and he's tremendous. He's tremendous. So it's nice to have him back on the court. It's nice to have him, at practices, and really need him on the court. And I look forward to that day.
Coach, Issa went through a stretch the last 3 games where he missed, I think, 12 or 13 straight threes. Even though the game was kind of out of reach, how important is it for his confidence to make those 2 in the second half?
Yeah, I thought he just kept plugging away. We told him the shots are going to fall. I thought he got some pretty good looks too. He forced a couple, but he got some wide open ones, and he's got to take those. And as you saw in the Iowa game, he made them. Tonight he didn't, but he stayed the course. He got to the rim a couple times. He made a couple post moves, so he scored in some different ways that he generally doesn't do.
You're about halfway through the Big Ten schedule, 8 games to go. What do you take out of the first half of the Big Ten schedule, and what do you try to improve on in the second half?
As I always say, it's a tremendous league. Penn State's terrific. We played Michigan State twice, all ranked teams. We played, Michigan at Michigan. We played Purdue at Purdue. It's obstacles all over the place, and now we're going on the road again. So it's a really, really good league with a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches and difficult environments to play in. So, and we're playing a lot of young guys that haven't been here before, and they're figuring it out. So, we look forward to the challenges ahead.
Steve, teams have really hurt Penn State on the offensive glass. You guys were only able to get 2. Did you think that was maybe a little bit of a lost opportunity, or did they do something really well?
Huge. I thought they blocked out well, but we're a good offensive rebounded team, and we talked about it at halftime. We didn't have an offensive rebound. We had one team offensive rebound. So not one individual guy had that, and to their credit, they blocked out. But we have to make sure we're going. That's another way that we can score and get teams in foul trouble. So they obviously did a much better job of that.
And Watkins, you've played a lot of good players this year, but when he's working the boards like that,
I tell you, he's really improved too. He was a good player last year. He's really, really good player, and they have a lot of weapons. You got to be concerned with Garner. You got to be Carr can score in multiple ways. Stevens is tough. Reeves does a little bit of everything. So they have a lot of good players. You can't just key on one of them. he's much improved too. So he was good again last year, and now he's better.
Two more.
Mamadou had 6 points, 3 for 6. Most importantly, he only had 3 fouls in 21 minutes.
Yeah.
Just how far has he grown, especially in that department?
Well, I mean, huge, and I think you saw some of the things. Even I love the way he attacked the rim, even though he missed that dunk. You know, he showed some things, but you know, the most important thing was he's on the court for some time. They let him play around the basket, and he was able to stay out of foul trouble. And you know, he's a freshman. He's going to get better and better, and the more minutes we can have him on the court, he's going to get better, and that's what we're trying to do with him. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.